Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Can You Hear Me? Can You Hear Me is an online event by Beyond the Box on the topic of mental health awareness and sensitization in children, with a focus on how literature and stories can play a crucial role in initiating these important conversations. Now, a lot of people ask me that why an event on mental health and emotional awareness on a platform like Beyond the Box, which is primarily about creative writing and literature. Well, to be very honest, I strongly feel that writing is so close to our emotions, right? I mean, I think a very important quality of a writer is to actually look inwards and be connected to one's own emotions. So I feel that it actually goes completely in sync with what we stand for. Also, at Beyond the Box, we believe in the holistic development of children, and I believe that conversations about their own mental health are extremely important, and definitely stories play such an important role in having such conversations with them, because a lot of time parents tell me that we cannot just go and tell our kids that, okay, come today, let's talk about mental health. Of course, it doesn't work that way with kids most of the times. So reading books on these kind of topics, I think, helps a lot. This is something that I have experienced not just as a creative writing mentor, but also as a parent with my 6-year-old daughter. Now it's time for another wonderful and enriching conversation with author Pragati Sureka. So let me tell you that her book Hope is actually what prompted me to plan this event with even more vigor and conviction. Of course, I had been planning this event for a while. Now it was in my head. But when I read this book with my daughter, I realized that no, there's no thinking. I have to do this very soon. So in a way, this book has been an inspiration behind this event. And I truly feel that this is a wonderful book, again, not just for kids, but also for parents. And Pragati is somebody who feels very strongly about the subject. So I'm sure we'll get to learn a lot from her during today's conversation. So let me not waste any more time and let me get her on the stream. Hi, Pragati. Welcome to Beyond the Box.
Thank you, Anupama. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And your background looks absolutely lovely, I must say.
Thank you. Books are my passion.
Okay. So let me introduce Pragati for the audience. Pragati Sureka is in an everlasting relationship with books, which we can definitely see from the background. Since an early age, she has read voraciously, contributed articles for the School Chronicle, journaled and written in some form or the other. Her formal writing career started last year. ABCs of Emotions is Pragati's third book. Her earlier work includes Musings and Insight into Me and Hope, Stories for a Healthy Mind, which is a book that we'll be talking about today. It is a unique storybook published by Scholastic this year. Of late, she has also published articles in reputed magazines pertaining to parenting, mental health, and well-being. Mental health awareness is a keen social cause for her, and she aims to write non-fiction, self-help, and fiction regularly, specifically in this genre. Emotional well-being is possible for every individual is her belief, and she intends to do her bit to help readers achieve it. She's a licensed clinical psychologist working in the realm of mental health since the last 15 years. Apart from her dual qualifications in clinical and occupational health psychology, she has professional credentials from Harvard Medical School, Boston, the Psychometric Center at the University of Cambridge, and Beck Institute, Philadelphia. Thank you so much, Pragati. It's such an honor to have you today at Beyond the Box.
Thank you, Anupama.
Okay, so Pragati, as I was telling the audience even earlier that your book Hope, which is right now in my hand, it was an inspiration for me in a way to actually plan this event on mental health. I want to understand from you that in your own life, what was it that made you feel so strongly about the topic of mental health? Because you are a clinical psychologist and this is something that you have worked on for a long time now. So what was your inspiration behind getting into this field?
For me, I have been a voracious reader, and I always thought that mental health was about giving advice to others on how to fix up their life. Right. And when I walked in for a diploma course about 16 years back on counseling skills, I remember telling my director there that I love to give advice. All my friends and family come to talk to me about things. And she was like, but we don't teach you how to give advice. We teach you how to listen. So I was like, what's the point? I mean, why listen, And she said, ki, as there was something in her voice that made me join the course, because I have always enjoyed working with people. And even in school, because I read so voraciously, I always felt that, human beings are different. Yet I saw people being labeled. Some were considered bright, some of us who were very comfortable with academics, some people who struggled with academics, they were not looked upon very flatteringly by their teachers or even
Yes.
by their peers. So these were some of the things, and I've always liked working with women and children in some form or the other, and reading. So my interest in mental health grew on that. Somehow I had gotten married early, and psychology was not an option before I got married, and it's not even a field that I had thought about. So I had landed up at the door of Cornash to do a course on counseling skills. I realized that now, as an adult learning program, I could learn. But as I went through the course, I realized how it transformed me. I realized how books actually have an impact. And, when we really listen to someone, it helps someone become who they want to be. So,
Yeah.
why I got deeper and deeper into mental health is I realized that, nowhere do we speak about this concept of personal responsibility. Nowhere do we give that long rope to people. It's like you have a toothbrush in the bathroom. You don't think that you have some kind of a dental problem. We just
Yeah.
know it, that you need to brush your teeth daily to take care of your dental hygiene. But when it comes to mental health, people don't touch it with a barge pole. If you have to
Yeah.
seek help, people think that, oh, pagal hai kya? Or, इसको कुछ
Exactly.
प्रॉब्लम होगा, इसके बच्चे के साथ प्रॉब्लम होगा, इसके मैरिज में प्रॉब्लम होगा. No one looks at it ki, hey, it's just about being the best that you can be, and
Right.
just taking care of your mental health. So with these things in mind, I actually got deeper and deeper into the subject, and
Lovely.
I kept training. I did my master's later on. I went on to do my PhD. In fact, I'm on the verge of completing it. And yes, in the
Excellent.
process, I realized that there are no books. Much as we talk about, mental health being as easy as brushing your teeth, there are no books, with which you can talk to little children about mental health. And that's where these series of books are actually coming on since last year.
Right. Amazing. You touched upon so many important aspects just now, Pragati, because there are so many myths and stereotypes, like you said, that, okay, if someone has gone to a professional, then definitely we label the people that, okay, they're mad or crazy. And so irresponsibly, we use certain terms when and it's pretty normalized in the way we talk. Also, the fact that how we assume that counseling is about giving advice, like you said, and then we realize that it's so much about listening and letting, and that's why the title of this event also, when I was coming up with "Can you hear me," was something that just came instantly into my mind, because I think it's so much about that. So completely what you say, I think all of us here, like me, and even those who are watching, resonate with that. So with that, I would like you to tell the audience a bit about your book, Hope, Stories for a Healthy Mind. If you could just tell them what the book is about and what they can expect as a reader.
Sure. So this book, Hope, is just about starting essential conversations about mental health. Like with young children or even older children, we see words like depression, stress all over TV right now. That
Yeah.
take care of your mental health, stay calm, but no one understands, and we are very pictorial creatures. We like to see something, we like to
Yeah.
hold something. So, hope is just about having conversations about mental health. There may be a mental health issue, like somebody suffering from depression, because of which there are mood swings. And
Yeah.
the best way is to communicate to the other family members about what is happening. And there's a lot of self-diagnosis also going on. Like I see a lot of adolescents who will probably come to me and say, ma'am, I'm having a panic attack. That's why I want a session. Nowadays,
Yeah.
the youth is a lot more aware. They would rather seek help rather than go to their parents. I wouldn't get into why or why not, but I
Right.
realized that their first line of communication ought to be their parents. Why don't they
Yes.
feel safe venting out about what they are going through? So
Right.
Hope tries to actually serve as a tiny bridge between parents
Yes.
and children, even educators and children, all stakeholders in a child's growth. Whoever wants to talk about mental health, it's just a reference point through three simple, heartwarming stories.
Right, right. That's so true. And I have read the book, and I feel that it just makes it so easy. Like, for example, when I was reading it with my 6-year-old, it was for the first time that I spoke to her about who is a psychologist. That somehow never happened before, but just by reading this book, that conversation became so easy. It just came and it threw in the story. She asked me, I explained to her in simple words, like the way she could absorb at that age, and that's when I realized that literature and stories can play such a huge role in approaching these subjects with children, in sensitizing them, making them more aware. And thank you for writing a book like Hope. What I wanted to know next is, when you were coming up with these stories, because these three stories are very unique in terms of the problems that the child is dealing with. Sometimes it is their internal, like in the problem they are struggling with. Sometimes it's the people around them and how it impacts them. So, was there a effort from your side consciously to ensure that these stories deal with like different kind of mental health problems, so that people understand that there is a huge spectrum in which the way we can actually struggle with these issues, and what are the different ways in which emotions can impact children? So, was it a conscious effort from your side? If you could just talk a little bit about the planning for these stories.
Yes, there was, because what I would see, firstly, I wanted to bring home the fact like parents really work very hard to provide the best for their children, in terms of financial comfort, in terms of the schools they pick, in terms of the clothes that they want their children to wear, and the classes that they go through. But unfortunately, sometimes when they are talking to each other, they forget that the best psychologist in the house is the young child watching
Yes,
them.
true.
Children really try and get what the parents are thinking, or they try to gauge the parents' mood. And when a child shows any symptoms, like in terms of poor performance in school, bedwetting, temper tantrums, or hitting
Yes,
another child, often it's something that the child is trying to communicate to you. Something needs attention, and a child is not able to talk about it. So, what I really wanted to do through the first book is, try and facilitate good communication between parents and children. What is the
yes.
environment at home like? Is there an issue that you are grappling with? And
Hmm.
if you are, talk to your child about it, that you are not the cause of it. Because children,
Yes,
they are very egocentric, in the sense they feel that the world revolves around them. So if two people are arguing or fighting, they start thinking that it's because of me, and then their self-esteem comes down. So I really picked this story up because when I see children in therapy, often
hmm.
parents are very resistant to that thought. It's like, we are okay, just fix our child up, or what can we
Yes,
do?
yes,
We are balancing dual jobs, or even if it's not dual jobs, I'm busy with my workouts, running my home, blah blah blah, XYZ commitments. Now, how do you get across to anyone? Here the
yeah,
psychologist is just a bridge. We are not trying to label anybody. We
yes,
understand that parents have their own struggles, but the only thing that really helps with a child is communicate to a child. Children are smart, they grasp concepts really well. So, if parents are in that mode of talking to their child, and if there is a problem which they are not able to resolve by themselves,
right,
it's always good to go to a professional. So, that is where
yes,
my first story came from. Second is, if someone has a mental health issue, people don't talk to a child about it. So, when children see
yes,
symptoms, they don't know what to do about it. So, communication is what I'm really trying to highlight through these three unique stories. The third
yes,
one is about some kind of an obsessive compulsive behavior that a child is displaying. A lot of
yes,
times, all the child needs is attention, a bit of guidance, and harmony at home. It's
yes.
surprising how these three ingredients can really lay a foundation of emotional strength and stable emotions, in a child.
Yes, completely agree with that as a parent as well as a mentor, because I do interact with so many children, and I agree. I think parents truly need to look at ourselves also, because like you said, a lot of times it's about just fix the child, or the child is having a problem, but we don't really look inwards to see how we are probably contributing to what the child is going through. And that is my next question for you, Pragati, that you mentioned at the beginning also that when there is a teeth problem, like, so we maintain hygiene on a regular basis. We don't wait for cavities to start taking care of our tooth. So what are, like, because you're also a professional, so I'm sure you can guide us best, that what are the little things that we can do on a regular basis for not just our own self-care, but for helping kids also with that. What do you think as adults? It could be parents, it could be mentors, it could be uncles and aunts, whoever interacts with children on a regular basis. Some suggestions that you think that we can take care of on a regular basis to ensure that the child is able to open up, the child is able to be emotionally aware, and raising children with basically a high EQ that we keep talking about. So yeah, what do you think that we can do?
The first thing you can do is laugh with your child. Just ask yourself, did I share a joke with the child? Because see, for humor, like I know my 17-year-old would show me memes. Now, for whatever the reason, I wouldn't get the memes. So I would look at it. So she'd be like, Mom, you can't understand a meme. I said, no, I can't. But I realized that she would just giggle and she'd probably put it up on the screen and explain it to me, and we would laugh. So humor is essential to communicate with your child. Whether your
So true.
child is 2 years old, you can play peekaboo with a 2 year old. With your 17-year-old, also, you have to go to their level. We are very dismissive of children and we don't realize. We laugh with
Yes,
friends, we laugh with siblings, but we forget to laugh with children. So
so
humor
true, so true.
humor is the first place where you start off. And
Right.
I like to give very simple tips. I can of course go to the more complicated ones, but for all our audience there, this is something which is so important that you start off with. One is humor. Second is, ask your child, how was your day? What went well today? What made you feel good? What made you feel sad? Initially, they may tell you, Mom, you're so weird, you're so nosy. But, or when you say, today I felt really sad that this didn't go well, or I watched that on TV, or I'm really happy that, oh, now finally there is a vaccine. When you start talking in terms of feeling words, automatically, when do we have mental health problems? When our emotions don't get enough vent, or we feel we need to bottle it up, or if we display it, it will not be approved. So here what we try and do is we talk about feelings on a regular basis. 5 minutes a day, every parent, if they spend with the child, put your phone off, no TV. Just talk about your day. This is what went well. This is what made me happy. This is what made me disgusted. This is what was. So, when
Right.
you start talking about feelings, like you rightly pointed out, like when you had a book in hand, you suddenly started talking to your daughter about psychology,
Right.
which otherwise you may have thought, like before the book, psychologist, will my 6-year-old understand it? But when you
Yes.
started talking, you knew how to communicate with her,
Right.
because there is that unique bond between parents and children. So the second tip I give is feel your feelings and encourage children to feel their feelings. Third is regulate your feelings. Let's say you are angry. That time I recommend that you practice the pause. Count till 5. Let's say your child has spilled something and it's making you very angry. Just count till 5. You're like, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. That you have to tell yourself, not your child.
Right.
Just smile and say, are you feeling okay? Most of the time you will see children will say, oh mom, I was so clumsy because I was distracted. I was looking at the TV. I wasn't paying attention. If you are gentle and kind when you are trying to discipline anybody, you will actually get the same behavior. So third
Yes.
is regulate your own emotions to help children regulate their
Right.
reactions. And the last one is give a tight hug to your child every night before sleeping and say these words like a mantra. I love you and I am very proud to be your parent. You'd be surprised how these four simple things can really build up resilience in children. And the child may be 2 years old, 1 year old, and the child may be 60. But I've often seen, even elderly people, you will always see them that if they are with their parents in their
Right.
80s, there is a different glee in them. You're always a
Yes.
child to your parent. So these four
Absolutely.
factors, I feel, are really important to lay a good foundation of good mental health.
Right, right, right. I think you've given some precious pearls of wisdom there. Such a, like, it may sound like something simple, but they are so, so, so important to be like. I think sometimes we also need reminders. So those are some really valuable pieces of advice. So everybody watching, I hope you've made a note of all that wonderful advice Pragati has given all of us. And I would just like to share a few comments that we've been getting. So Soumya Goel says, very well said, Pragati. Then there's a comment from Rohini. She says, beautifully said, laugh with kids. Awesome. Yes, even I feel that's such an important advice that we all should remember. And there's a question from Rohini. She's an adult, but yeah, I think she's asking for herself, not for her child, that there have been situations in her life which has impacted her mentally and she cannot leave the feeling for some time. And how do I overcome it? Are there any books which help me out? So I'm not sure of the books for adults. I'm not sure, Pragati, if you're aware of any.
See, I could recommend the book of poetry which I have written. See, I'm really
Right,
trying to make mental health very easy. Of course,
right,
there are lots of good books, but I don't think that, giving recommendations on technical books really work here. If
right.
it's just easy motivational books, a book like Tuesdays with Maury is very, very
Right.
nice. Like you
Yes.
can really catch hold of any self-help book, Rohini, because, you never lose out anything. Wayne Dyer
Yes.
writes some amazing books. Louis Hay is there. You can listen to them on YouTube. You can pick up their books. The best part about self-development or growth or feeling your feelings is you just have to have interest about it. You would be surprised how many channels open up because we
Yeah.
all have potential for growth. And, being interested in a better relationship with ourselves is actually what is spirituality.
Yes. True.
Spirituality is the quality of our most important relationship, which is with ourselves. So, Rohini,
Yes.
thank you for this question. Most of the time we always talk about relating to another person, but we very
Yeah.
rarely stop to pause and think, how am I relating to myself? How can I grow?
True.
If that
True.
interest
True.
comes, it's in our survival instinct. You'd be surprised with how many channels open up.
Right. Right.
I
So
hope
true.
this answers your question.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it does, Rohini. And there's also a comment from Vidya who says, "I love the message." Yes, I'm sure all of us did. And just to remind the audience that we have a special prize for the most engaged audience member today. So keep those comments and reactions and shares coming in. So coming back to you, Pragati, when you were writing the book Hope. As a writer, like more from the point of a writer, did you have this in mind that you need to like simplify the concepts because this is a book for the younger kids? So did you find it challenging to simplify, or was it something that came naturally to you? So if you could share about that experience.
I did want to simplify it, to be very honest. I personally read a lot of psychology books, as you can see the bookshelf behind me, and
Yes,
even
yes.
otherwise. But I do realize that thick, fat books scare most of us. It's not
Right.
everybody's cup of tea. And a lot of books on mental health are actually not written with the Indian audience in mind. So I
Yeah, I
realized
agree.
that simple language was very, very important. In fact, I would like to thank Scholastic, because some of their input really helped me simplify the language and to put it
Lovely.
across in a way that reaches a wider audience. Even the
Right.
illustrator whom they picked up, as you can see, the illustrations are very soft, very beautiful, and very
Absolutely.
relatable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
In
I
fact,
definitely did try to simplify.
yes, in fact, one of the kids also mentioned the illustrations being very soothing in the review. So yesterday we posted a review of Hope on Beyond the Box. This review was done by one of our students, Shrikar Chitta, and he also said exactly the same thing, that the illustrations are very soothing for a child.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, Pragati, before we wrap up the chat, just your last words to the audience on why they should read Hope, how will it benefit them, and what they can truly hope from Hope.
So, what they can truly hope for from Hope is starting essential conversations about mental health in their household. The age of the child is irrelevant. Sometimes
Right.
I've even had children who are maybe in their teens, saying that thank you for writing this book. Like I remember friends, 12-year-old. told her mother, okay, this book is really nice. Now I can actually talk to you about certain things. So really start off with a book where you can talk about mental health. Secondly, it actually has concrete tips at the end of the book for parents where they can
Yes.
talk to their children. How can they enhance the basic self-esteem that a child has? Like how can they actually help the child develop emotional intelligence is
Yes,
what is
this is
spoken
the
about in the book.
section, and it is so helpful. So yeah, of course, it's not fitting entirely in the screen, but yeah, there is. It's a and trust me, I've read it. It's a very useful and a section with practical suggestions.
So basically, what parents will get out of the book is a way to communicate with their child. And even
Right.
if there are those terrible twos or the adolescents, I mean, if they're the labeled ages, it's not, children really respond well to clear communication and with the right guidance. What I really am hoping for from Hope is that parents and children both feel that, hey, it's as easy as having a toothbrush in the bathroom. There can just be a book on mental health lying around. So, one can talk about it. So rather than Googling symptoms and then, self diagnosing or your child, it's better that you seek help from a professional if you're not able to cope up with the situation.
Right.
I
Right.
also wanted to bring that point home through Hope, that don't overlook certain symptoms in a child. If your child is very
Yes.
distracted, if your child is not sleeping well, if your child is performing poorly, talk to the child. Talk to the child's teacher. If you are still not getting an answer, do not shy away from seeking help from a qualified mental health professional.
Yes.
Because then, maybe in a session or two, like, threads which get entangled, you can just unravel the skeins, so that everything is smooth and functioning. That's what
Yes.
I hope for, from Hope, essentially. That a book
Yes.
and mental health is there in every household so that
Love.
taking care of your mental health seems as easy as brushing your teeth in the morning daily.
Very true, very true. We hope so too. So all of you do check out this book on Amazon. It's there for purchase, and a lot of kids at BTB have read this book recently, and they all have loved it. So I'm sure you're going to. It's actually, like I said, it's not just for children; it's even for the parents to learn and understand. And I think this is a lovely compliment to end this session with. Rohini says your smile is so infectious, Pragati. It cures all the problems.
Rohini, start doing it. Trust me, when you start just enjoying what you do, all our smiles are infectious. And
Right,
yes, the
I
red
agree.
lipstick helps too. So
Yes,
that is one tip.
that's a very important point. Yes, yes, the red lipstick does help, I'm sure. Okay, so thank you so much, Pragati. It was a fabulous chat and a lot of learning there for all of us. Thank you for taking our time to be a part of this endeavor of Beyond the Box.
Thank you, Anupama. I have really enjoyed being here. And thank you so much for spreading the message about hope to your readers, your audience, and to parents in general. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, totally. Bye. And
Bye.
audience, you can stay for another panel discussion, which is coming soon.
Okay, take care. Bye bye.
Yes, bye.